How's it going? Glad you all's here. You're having a great day so far. I recently had a conversation with one of my friends where they were basically saying that they, or I guess, felt kind of disappointed in themselves because they felt like any time that they were playing video games and just in general being unproductive, that they were wasting their time and that like they should spend that time instead um, by doing like just doing something productive. I don't know, like working on a YouTube channel or like studying, whatever. And with this, I guess, video and this conversation, it kind of got me thinking about just in general with like social media and then the whole, like, I guess, kind of hustle culture that's pretty prominent right now. Um, it's basically plastered like all over social media where people are saying, if you want to get ahead, you have to completely give up you know, leisure, free time activities, get rid of like Netflix, can't play video games, can go and hang out with your friends, etc., etc. And while doing these sorts of things will more than likely get you, I guess, results in whatever it is that you are trying to, I guess, create, build, or get better at, the issue comes in the fact that anytime you overly prioritize one thing, it always comes at the expense of another. There's a finite amount of time that you have per day, and there's also a finite amount of attention you have per day for you as an individual. And if you spend all of your time, let's say, being productive, or you try to be productive, and let's say your battery for you to operate at full focus 100% and I guess maintain that I guess intensity of work and concentration, let's say your battery is like 2 hours, and if you give up all of your leisure time and things that generally tend to make you feel recharged and relaxed, it's unrealistic to expect yourself to work, say 8 hours straight with complete full of focus and, you know, create like your best work. And that's the issue where, if you come in and you get rid of, all the things that you find to be fun and you stop, I guess, indulging in leisure, wouldn't even say indulging, but just like giving yourself the opportunity to like find leisure in certain activities, you can't realistically keep up that pace and be productive and create work that you're proud of 100% of the time. You need time to relax and do other things. You need time to hang out with friends and maintain your relationships. Otherwise, you spend too much time working on your own stuff, all your relationships will also fall apart because those take time, attention, sometimes money, and maintenance just to upkeep. And if you put all your eggs in one basket, you give up, the time, money, attention, whatever that you may need in order to have a fulfilling life or like do things that you find to be fulfilling. And that's the issue with the whole, I guess, push of the mainstream productivity culture right now that I guess you guys can see on social media. A lot of these people preach, grind, 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 work, 15, 16, 17 hours a day. And the only time you should stop is like when you're asleep or if you're doing something else productive. And it's just not realistic. It might be something you can sustain for a short term, but over the long term, it's definitely not. It's not worth it because if you're trying to push yourself past the limits that you can physically go, you're not going to create any good work anyways. If you're spending, 8 hours a day of highly focused attention span on work and creating something, but your battery capacity is only at 3 or 4 hours, there's 4 hours in between where you're essentially just wasting that time because it's not good focused work. Whereas if you had just spent some time relaxing and recharging instead of being frustrated with the lack of quality from the work that you're producing, instead you'll feel a little bit more energized and ready to go for the next time. And so if you are feeling like, I guess, that video games are, a waste of time, you feel, I guess, kind of upset at yourself when you do play video games, and, this is like you just feel pressured by, I guess, social media and maybe your peers and stuff that, you should stop playing these video games. Like, oh, you're too old to be playing video games and you should be focusing on, X, Y, and Z. Just know that if you schedule your time right and you limit yourself, because too much of anything can most certainly become a bad thing. If you can monitor it and you can allocate your time well, you can essentially be somebody who produces higher quality work and more quality work than somebody who works 16 hours a day just by working 2 to 4 hours per day. As long as you really focus in and use that time well, and you give yourself, a chance to relax and do something else at the end of the day. Whereas somebody who's grinding, 16, 17 hours a day, maybe they'll be ahead of you in the short term because they're putting in that time. But those people, they don't often last long. It's, always the brightest stars that burn out the fastest, as they say. And it's true in this case. And you can apply this logic even in the reverse order. If you're somebody who, plays video games 18 hours a day and you're trying to really make progress, if you're pushing yourself beyond what your limits are, let's say you could realistically stomach playing BDO for 4 hours straight, and that's like all focused grinding, I guess, or whatever it is you do. You're consistently pushing yourself day in and day out to go past that number. Eventually, you're just going to hit a brick wall and burn out. So it's really important that you kind of figure out how you work as a person, what your limits are, and also your goals, and see if there's a way you can get that to align with, the other things in your life that you care about and you enjoy. And, this stuff isn't just meant to be thrown away. It's not just a waste of time, if it's something that you enjoy, because at the end of the day, the person who grinded 18 hours a day and, barely got good sleep and died early with millions and millions of dollars in their bank account versus somebody who lived a very long and fulfilling life, maybe, doesn't have a bunch of excess money in the bank, but, when they pass away, everyone goes to the same dirt. We all go back to where we came from. And so I think it's more important to figure out, what works for you to have a very sustainable and fulfilling and happy life versus pushing yourself because, that's like the expectations of other people or, the society around you. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today with this video. As always, thank you so much for watching, supporting my content, and I'll see you again in the next video.